All right.
That I'm at an all-time I
When the lights come on, when the crowd goes wild, wrap the roof up over here, take it to the stratosphere, stand up and scream it loud. When the fire flies, wrap the roof up over here, take it to the stratosphere,
What's up, Kayak Fishing League? Justin Query here. Friday show, Friday version of the KFL Fantasy Show here with Kraz and Todd Patrick. Welcome, guys, to the show.
What's up, fellas? How's it going?
Oh man, it's going to be a good show this week. I think we got some good matchups, some tight matchups that are going to decide some playoffs. So,
Sink or
we got
swim week.
It is for many of our teams. And it's definitely going to be interesting to go over some of our picks from last week and some of our picks from this week. So let's just jump into last week's stuff.
All right.
So our first thing was the optimal lineup, which is, we actually were 1 point away on somebody's lineup from becoming an optimal lineup.
Oh,
Optimal
you almost
76.
throw some cross kicks.
I actually was panicking at home after looking to see, like, did he really just win cross kicks?
Did I save enough money in my profile in my bank account this week to get some
I
cross
lost
kicks?
enough in Rhode Island, man. Did I really have enough to do that? But he was 1 point away. I think he had a 14 or a 13 on his board, and
Who was it?
14. It was the Oklahoma Outlaws fantasy team. I think it was
Preston Griner.
Preston Griner. It was.
Wow.
75 out of 76 possible points. Unbelievable.
Congrats, Preston. He must have been watching the show, or maybe not watching the show.
Yeah, maybe he doesn't watch the show, or just whatever we pick for trash can, he just picks them.
He does the inverse of what we tell him to do. Yeah.
So yeah, that was a pretty good week. I know I traveled out to fish against you. We got only a couple of us got 1 day of pre-fishing. It was not that there wasn't fish on Ward's Pond. There is fish in there. You guys put up a limit. It's just a tough place to figure out the bite in that much time. Not so much what most people think of when it's tough to figure out a body of water is they think covering water and distance, and it's not that for Ward's Pond. It's more just figuring out that bite and where to get them at. And we just didn't do it on time. But congrats to you guys, man. You guys had an awesome game.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that.
And it was awesome getting off the water. I know there's been some controversy in the KFL. We don't need any of it. I know we got off the water, we got our butts kicked, and we sat and had a beer under tailgate
Yep.
and had some pizza. So we had a good
Hey,
time.
that's how it should be, though. That's how it
Yeah.
should be. Good sport, win or lose. I mean, that's what it was, and that's how it should be. It's nice to see you guys.
Yeah, it was awesome, man. Hopefully next time you guys come here and we'll play maybe Cayuga Lake or something like that. Who knows? But yeah, let's go through some of our other picks, our locks.
Yep.
My lock got kicked out of the league, so we won't go there. But
Well, he scored 6 or 7 points, right?
he was on pace to have like
17,
a big day.
18. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Something like
but
that.
you know, it is what it is. He had all those issues and got DQ'd. We won't talk about what happened, but to get DQ'd with PFD, that happens. I mean, people do it. It's, never happened to me, but it could.
So, yeah, I mean, you were there in terms of where where your advice was. Your advice was correct. It just didn't end up panning out the way for you in the terms of points.
Yeah.
I think who was I next or was Todd's guy next there?
Todd's guy was next.
Todd, who'd you have?
Dave Carey.
Dave Keir. He only had 8 on his home body of water, but 8's not horrible for a lock, but it should be 10 plus. But
I thought their limit would be a little bit bigger on that body of water.
Should be double digits, right? I mean, that's what we're striving for.
When we give you guys a lock, we're talking about guys that we think should give you at least 10 to 12 plus.
Yep. I also let everybody down. I figured Maine at home. Place was fishing good. I know that some angler, Rich Biggie, put up over 170 inches on this place. So I thought Brady Ouellette was going to go off, and he didn't. I mean, this is his first week, of course, his first week that he doesn't crack 100 inches. And it's the week I pick him as a lock. So, hey, maybe I jinxed him there or something.
You might have. See, I had Rich Biggie in my lineup.
Yeah.
And I took him out because he said I would jinx him after the show. So I did him a favor. I took him in my lineup. He puts up the best score in the league. So, Rich Biggie, you owe me one for that.
You're welcome.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, he put up a big game. But yeah, I didn't expect that out of Brady either, man. That was a surprise for me. I thought he'd have like 10. I thought he'd have about a 10 fish day.
7 points is all right, but it isn't going to win you any fantasy games.
Yeah, definitely. My sleeper was obviously Todd's lock or Dave. He had a good day, but not what I expected either. Probably good for a sleeper pick, but I was looking for 10. What about you, Todd?
Alan Sweat thought that maybe he was going to come out and do a little something in Florida, and he only gave me 40 some points. He gave me 4 points, 40 some odd inches. I thought he was going to break out. I thought he was going to, do a little something there, but he didn't show up. But at least I didn't have Krasn's pick.
I mean, I figured there definitely had to be some kind of honey hole there. It didn't make sense that you had 5 games played and you had 1 fish a game and you're still starting. And there he was starting again. So I figured, all right, well, a 10-mile radius has got to have some kind of honey hole. But I came out with a big old 3-pointer.
I gotta say something about Carl Haggerty, right? Carl, I don't know you. I don't know you. I wish you nothing but the best, and I'm sure you can outfish me 100 times out of 100. But I gotta say this: there's 3 guys in the league that have started 6 games this year, and Carl is like in the 140s in scoring or 130s in scoring. The other 2 are in the top 6. So, I expected more from Carl personally.
Unless it's an availability thing like we talked about last week. Like, come on.
Yeah.
It's time to ride the pine for a little bit. Let that team pick you back up.
And some of his teammates have been playing pretty good too. I mean, Zach Bunner's been playing great. The matchup series, I think he's only got 2 starts under his belt. I've met Carl. I actually got to meet him at the Hobie event in Sandy Cooper. We ended up launching the same launch on day 2. Super cool dude. I'm not trying to rag on him either. I just think that for being an owner of a team, playing in at least 3 home games, I think you gotta do better than that. So that's why that leads me right to Matt now. He was my trash can.
That's why I didn't fish on my own team. I'm not on the caliber of my guys.
A lot of us aren't on the caliber of your guys.
Yeah.
Our
It's for
record
real.
totally says it too, doesn't it?
Hey, it's the KFL. Anything can happen. That's why I love this
Yeah.
stuff, man.
A couple of the games we've lost, we were short players, and
Yeah, COVID's
it
been
sucks.
beating up on the South, man. So hopefully that's gets a little
Oh,
better. Yeah, that was my
you already
trash
got
can. So
you
you
already
guys
got
can
to talk
go right
about
into your
We
trash can.
nailed the trash cans.
Now
the
the trash cans.
trash can. I smacked that one up and down.
What
0 for
happened? Does
Cody.
anybody know? Do you
Cody
know?
Smilton. You know what? I don't want to take away from the glory of me getting Cody getting 0, but Cody didn't show up and fish. But he
Okay.
was on the starting lineup, right?
Really?
And I bet people would
And
use him if they would
people
know.
would put him on.
Yeah.
So for trash can, I kind of hit a home run.
Oh, you
Yeah.
hit a
I
home
picked
run.
a guy that didn't even show up to the lake. You didn't even have an opportunity to get a point from Cody Milton last week.
Wow, you had some inside scoop there. You must have.
Hey,
You
Greg,
told
can you
him,
No,
check
I
his
mean,
check his
hey,
ownership?
hey, we threw him $100 to not show up to try to get us an easy dub, and it didn't
Yeah.
work out. You know what I mean?
Hey, that makes sense. I mean, you tell them, hey, I'm 0 for 2 on trash can picks for my fantasy show. Can you just not show up so I can nail one, knock one out of the park this week?
Craig, you got to check his ownership for us and see what was there, because I wondered if people were picking him against Todd, and see if that's what they were doing,
Yeah.
and then they ended up getting. This week he made him pay for it if they did that to him. Todd made him pay.
Todd owes everyone $100. Cody Milton, yeah, he was top 10, 13.8%.
See,
picked.
I knew it. I knew they were going to do that.
They didn't listen to me.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Well,
so funny.
Hey, it happens.
We know he's a
someone
hammer.
in the chat saying he had obligations. Hey, stuff like that happens.
Yeah, it does.
Just
Yeah,
too bad Todd knew.
he had obligations on Lake Fork 3 hours away from the lake he was supposed to be fishing.
Yeah. Well,
right.
I had Jason Denise. He hadn't put up good numbers at home. He scored 1 point. I think I was spot on there. I won't spend too much time. I don't really know him that much. Just his production in weeks past really hadn't really, given me anything to work with. He had to show up that game, and that's why I picked him.
Yeah, it was. Hey, we nailed those picks this week. Hopefully, people will make us eat our words this week, but it didn't happen this time. So that was our week 7 picks. It was an interesting week. Yeah, let's go through some of our matchups and get right into week 8. We got a big week. 14 games. A lot of playoff implications here. Some good games to go through, and some not good games to go through. Yeah, let me get this off the screen. All right, so here we got game 1. How do you say this, Lake? So I'm not going to say
Lake,
it first.
Nip and Nick it. It should be Lake Trash Can Alert.
Okay.
I know that this is where the Maulers took, what was it, Motor City last year? Who came down? Was it Detroit? It's for whatever the divisional game was, and there was like 3 fish caught. I know fish is tough. I know there's big fish in there. I don't see this being a numbers lake at all. I know that the Maulers know it. I know Conant caught a giant, like a 21.75 in that divisional game last year, somewhere around there. But I don't see this being a good fantasy lake for these guys, even though you got some good names on there, some good stats. I don't know how it's fishing. Maybe Ken Wood can get behind his keyboard and let us know how it's been fishing. Maybe we can, change our minds here. But I'm probably staying away from this one this week, boys.
Yeah, I don't see much fantasy value here except for, I mean, there's 3 names that kind of pop out for me here. It'd be Brady Ouellette, Matt Conant, and Ken Wood. But for only getting 5 picks, guys, I think I'm staying away from this one.
Yeah, I think I don't think I'm going to pick anybody from my fantasy lineup. I think this is one of those games where I think they'll catch their limit. I think it's going to be a tough limit, but when I get it, I think it's going to be some pretty good numbers. It's a pretty good size, but not enough for fantasy relevance for that.
Nope.
Maybe they get 2 20s, 3 20s each team and fill out their lineup, but I think that's how that's going to go.
It's like Ken says, the water's low. You might be able to find trapped fish though. So
Yep.
they could be reverse You know, and when water's low like that, you know, you find them schooled up in traps,
Right.
depending on how low it is.
So yeah, this is game 2. I don't think a lot of people know this, but game 2 is actually not being played tomorrow. This is being played next Saturday. It's the only game being played next Saturday. So there you go. You got a freebie to sit at home with your wife, give her some wine, and let her read a book, and then watch a game on Lake Winnie.
Put the airplay on, make some popcorn, watch
Yeah.
Angulas go out and do Angulas things. He's
it's
got
gonna
to be starting. I would
Has
say.
to be.
I would say this one. So this one's going to be counted as week 8 fantasy.
Yeah, it should be.
I would say we don't have the lineups here, which is kind of sucks
I didn't know
because this one's going to be this one's probably going to be one of the higher scoring games. I would
For
say.
sure.
So I would say if you want to take a swing for the fences, you got to imagine Angulas is starting. You got to imagine
Matt
that
Lee.
Biggie is as hot as it can be right now. Matt
yeah.
Lee's got to be starting. You could easily have three guys in your lineup. Stacked lineup from here. But if they're not starting, then you're stuck with changing your lineup if you still can. I don't know if you can.
Too bad we can't get any Adam Schefter inside information on the starters for this one.
Yeah, Bay State's
Fair.
saying Rich Biggie's in. I mean, right now we just don't know at this point. So
I would
it does
say
look
without
like Rich
seeing the
Biggie's
starting
in.
lineups,
So
yeah.
I'm gonna put Rich Biggie in my lineup until the guy cools off because
See-
the guy's on fire right now.
There's an issue with that, though. The issue with that is, will you be able to change your lineup to put somebody else from that game in, or
Right.
will the whole lineup lock?
Is it like daily fantasy where it's 1
Right.
p.m., 4:30, and 8 where you could switch guys in that lineup? I don't think that's the case.
Okay,
It
so you can
locks.
switch that one.
It locks at launch tomorrow. I think, right, Greg?
Yeah, I believe so. I'm not sure exactly how it works. I've just been on the
There you
back
go.
end, like updating guys and player keys for the stats, but I believe that it does lock. You're not going to be able to change your lineup after the fact.
Can anybody from Granite State give us a lineup or a projected lineup? Because if
Yeah.
so, we can go ahead and hook you guys up with some info. But yeah,
Yeah,
Rich Biggie would be
a good
definitely
lineup.
he would be a hard look here for sure.
If Chris Gomes gets on fish, I know we can catch smallmouth. I think that he could be a kind of a sleeper pick here. It's just going to depend. I talked to him earlier this week. Actually, he gave me a call, asking for inside info on Winnipesaukee, which I clearly didn't give him. And if he gets on fish, he knows how to catch him. So I would think that Gomes could be a sleeper pick here. It's summertime smallmouth fishing. They can't be that difficult to find. So we'll see.
If you guys look, I got Winnipesaukee as the #1 lake for fantasy this week.
Yeah.
Yep.
And if anybody's wondering why this is a home game for Bay State, but it's at Lake Winnipesaukee, that just shows you some sportsmanship in this league. Granite State and Bay State made a deal back and before the season started to play one game at Champlain, one game at Lake Winnie for both of these 2 games against each other, just to make sure that they were on a great lake that would be great, for everybody to watch. So shout out to those teams because I know next Saturday I'm watching that once I get off the water. So for me, the picks I'm going to take, Rich Biggie's locked in my lineup. I did him a favor not playing him in last week, but I'm locking him in for the rest of my time. If he's playing, I'm locking him in.
Sanchez.
Angulas, Lee.
Here we go. Here's got a lineup.
Here we go. All right, so you got Angulas and Lee.
This is good.
Those two could be your 1 and 2. Biggie has 3. I'm getting hot and bothered about this. About these 8 guys on Lake Winnipesaukee. 7 guys and a lady. Sorry, Tammy. My apologies. But
this is good.
Yeah, with this place showing out the way it has, you padding your stats here on Winnipesaukee. You really can't go wrong with any of the names that we're talking about.
Yeah, I'm giving fantasy value to Angulas, Lee, and Biggie. With the Angulas as a must start for me.
Yep.
Oh yeah, Angulas and Biggie to me. I'm just gonna lock him in now. And if Biggie doesn't play, I'll take that risk. But he looks like he's gonna play. So game 3. This is your team, Greg.
Yeah.
Rhode Island Rebels going to travel on the road to Highland Lake.
Yes. Yes.
So
I am jealous. I am jealous
about this one.
I'm jealous. I'm not fishing. I'm going to be building a bedroom in my new house. So I gave up my start. Let one of the guys who only had one start, or maybe two, I guess, Neil Raposa, getting in there. These guys went and pre-fished it last week, and they went off. And typically when we go and pre-fish and they go off, the fishing changes or whatever. But I don't know. It got hot again today. I don't know what the weather's going to be like tomorrow, but if we get no wind and that bait's not being blown around, it's probably going to fish a lot like it did last weekend. And these boys are set to go off. And I mean, I feel like it's going to be on both sides. So I know Katucci said that he had like 95, 96 inches in 2.5 hours fishing. So this one could be one of those places where it's right up the alley of Katucci, what Lacasse likes to do. Justin Gallo caught like a 6.5, 7-pounder on like his third cast. I know Neil Raposa lost like a 7-pounder drop shot in, tried to horse it in on 6-pound test and he lost it at the boat. So there's some giants in here. I mean, I haven't seen anything from the Renegades, but I'm sure these guys know how to fish this place. And if it's setting up the way it was, you could see 185, 190 inch game easily here. Easily. Wow. I'm saying it. I'm thinking it's going over 180 for both teams. It's going to be a slugfest.
Yeah, my fantasy value here, I'm looking at Lacasse and Katucci.
Yep.
Yeah, I think if I go anywhere here, it's Katucci for me. It's hard for me to bet against Tibbins. There's got to be a reason that they're choosing this lake. If there's big ones in there, I know Leo seems to catch monster fish when he's on them. And if it's a home lake for him, I'm not sure if it is a home lake for him, but if he's near it and he's fished it a lot, Leo, he could be a sleeper pick here too. But this should be a good matchup. You could definitely get some fantasy value here.
Definitely some fantasy value here. Some of my picks are coming out of here a little later on.
Game 4. This is my team's home game. Finally, we get back off our 3-game road streak. Went 1-2 on the road, and we're finally finishing the season out back-to-back home games. So we're on the Canisius Lake. It's Finger Lake down by Cayuga. I got to go down and fish it yesterday for the first time, do a little pre-fishing for my team, and gave up the little info that I could figure out what that was. It wasn't much to figure out. Fishing a little weird. There's a lot of algae, some weird stuff going on with that lake that makes it a little tough to throw certain baits. So it's a little tougher fishing than I expect, but when you catch fish there, they're good fish. So I don't think there's much fantasy relevance here. I think this is going to be one of those games where they put together a limit, both teams, but I think there's going to be a lot of 14-inch fish caught, and then it's going to be probably a struggle to get past 12, 13 fish for a team. Just my guess.
So
anything there you think, guys?
Nothing. This lake isn't in the top 5 lakes. You're saying that it's fishing tough. I don't see anyone who's averaging over 100 inches here. Not that. I mean, not that that's an easy thing to do, but if I had someone averaging over 100 inches per game, I might think about it. But I don't see any fantasy value here. I'm going to stay well away from this one.
Yeah, not touching it. Figuring this could be one of the worst matchups of the week. And not because of the teams, but I think the lake with the algae bloom is going to majorly affect the bite.
Very well could. I think I was there for maybe 6 hours. I caught 5 bass. My PB pike caught a 40-inch pike, so obviously Warden's Pond ruined me. I did that live at Warden's, and I caught like a big one there, 30-something inches, and then I came back here and did it again. But definitely, I agree with you. It's going to be one of those tough games. I think my team's got enough figured out that they'll take care of the limit. But it's going to be one of those games, if you're not on those 16s and you're on those 14s, it's going to be tough to win this. It's going to be like one of those 160, 148, 150 games. That's just my guess.
Yeah, no fantasy value here. Not with what else we got going on with
right.
These top 5 home lakes.
Yeah, a different time of the year, like early in the season. This lake could be fishing on fire. It's like Cayuga's little stepbrother. Just got some weird stuff going on with it right now. Game 5, Virginia Reapers going on the road to Delaware Doom. Interdivisional matchup on the Conowingo Reservoir. Pretty good matchup here. There's a couple of players that you might want to look at least one, but I don't know much about this reservoir. What do you think, Chris?
Well, I know Zach Bunner got hot last week, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he could definitely have some fantasy value here. If you're trying to go contrarian, I'm looking at these numbers. I'm not seeing anything that impresses me. I don't know about you guys. I know that Doom have an outside chance, right? They have an outside chance of making the playoffs.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that they're going down, or they're going to Conowingo looking for a win. So you could see another performance from Zach Bunner, or any of these guys have a breakout performance. But again, I go back to if you've got guys who are hot and you've got places that are fishing well, and this isn't in the top 5, so I'm probably not touching this at all. I'm not there. What do you think, Todd?
I don't like anything here for fantasy value this week.
Yeah, I think the only thing I'm going to go with here is I am going to have one of my picks come from this matchup, just because I think they are in that do or die. I think we're already in that do and die spot, but 2 and 4 for sure they can't get in without a win here at home. So I think Zach Bunner could come into play, but that's the only person I would touch on this one.
Yep, agreed.
Game 6 is a great matchup. Norfolk Privateers going on the road to Pennsylvania Brownsbacks. It's a pretty good lineup here for the Brownsbacks, I think, too.
Yep.
And it's a home game, so I don't know anything about this place, but it's a home game, and they put together one of their better lineups outside of maybe Nick Audie not being in there.
So I don't know if Prima Tuning is, if it's one of these grass lakes where you can flip. Maybe someone in the chat can chime in here. But
yeah,
if
there's
it's
grass.
It's a grass place. So I know Nate Hall. I fished near him at Lake Erie 2 years ago, and he had a pretty good performance flipping Lake Erie. So he's got to be half good at it at least. And he's quietly having a good year relative to with his stats. So I see him having a decent game here. If you're looking for a contrarian approach to pick it, not picking one of these highly owned guys. Nate Hall goes out there and he goes off flipping. He could have 7 or 8 fish for 120, 130, somewhere in there. I'm not really seeing. I know Robert Brown, the jig master.
Oh, I spelled
he could do pretty well at a grass lake as well. I'm not too sure. I know Wyatt Novak had a good event earlier this year. We put up, I think, 140-ish, I believe. I'm looking for his name, but I know he had a breakout event earlier this year, so he can definitely put him up. This, do your research. It's a grass lake here. Robert Brown, Mick Wood, both saying it's a grass lake. It's looking like there could be some fantasy value here, but I don't know if I'm gonna. If I do have a guy from these lineups, it's gonna be my 5th guy.
Who's KFL fishing?
I have no idea. Well, somebody's in here, I guess. Signed in.
Or you didn't put in for the height. Who is that?
I can't remember.
I see this guy's Pima Tuning could be a sleeper lake, right? I heavily considered it for a top 5. You got quality anglers going to a lake like this. Pima Tuning is half in Ohio, well, partially in Ohio and mostly in Pennsylvania. It's a humongous reservoir, and it's sporadic fishing. But if you can get there and the bites is hot, it could be fun. This could be one that you guys want to tomorrow. Tune in and watch this matchup and see if this isn't just a straight up slugfest.
Yeah, I think it will be.
So I like Robert Brown for some fantasy value here. Wyatt Novak, and then I like Mick Wood and Nate Hall here for potential fantasy value. I'm not sure if I'm going to put any of these guys in my top 5, but this is a place where you can come and steal some lower owned anglers this week, in my opinion, and maybe get you some fantasy value here, because this lake has the potential to show out largemouth, smallmouth. It's north. I'm going to assume they get winds off of Lake Erie up there. It's going to be cool. Actually, the reservoir's so big it creates its own wind patterns. It's a fun place, man, and this is one that you want to heavily look at and consider.
Yeah, I definitely think there's a couple guys I would consider here is Nate Hall, Mick Wood, same as you guys, and even Jeff Rabbit. I know he's put up some good games. Susky, he put up a pretty good game, and some of these other ones on the road. So he's been in those. He's been pretty good. So this is definitely one I think I might actually take one out of here.
Keep an eye out.
Yep.
All right.
This is gonna be a good game to watch too. Just to watch for fun. Like they're gonna catch a couple slobs out of this. Robert Brown always catches big fish anyway. So
Robert Brown's going with a 23 tomorrow. It's going to be all excited. Let's go, Robert. Let's go, Jig Master. I want to see it.
what's happened? He's back. Let's see what he got. All right, we got game 7. Motor City Ambassadors going on the road to Southern Slayers at the G, Gunnersville Lake. Should be a good matchup. Kraz, what do you think?
Look
Saw
at
a lot of
that.
good
Look
names.
at those numbers coming out of the Ambassadors. That I can't believe they're 4-2. Like there's such a well-rounded team that go into a place like Gunnersville where there's so much information. You can spend weeks researching this place, and I'm sure these guys have some kind of experience, or at least they've been talking around and trying to get an idea of how it's fishing. I'm sure if they've pre-fished it already. I mean, these guys know how to fish, right? So you could have some away guys here putting up some numbers. Eric Palin's just puts up big fish. That seems like all he does. So for the Slayers, I don't really know. I know Josh Deal had a pretty good good game last week. He put up 145.5. Matt Vogt, is it Vogt? I'm not sure. Matt Vogt, he had 126 last week. So if these guys are on him and this fishery's on fire, the thing is, last week it really wasn't. It didn't really show out the way you think that Gunnersville would show out. So maybe this week they're chomping. Maybe this week a lot of these names like you're not really familiar with. At least for me on the Southern Slayer side, I'm sure they're bigger names down south. But going by who's hot, I'm looking at Josh Deal, Matt Vogt, and then probably Eric Polens here as some fantasy value.
I see heavy fantasy value with Polins, Keher, and Deal. Those are my 3 guys that I'm looking at heavily here. Don't sleep on a little Zach Soler. You gave him a little info, and I know he's got some spots, and there's some anglers in Michigan that have given this team some insight that have done very well on Gunnersville. I think that the Slayers are going to give them everything they want, but I honestly feel like the Ambassadors have just as much knowledge on this lake as they do.
Yeah, this is my game of the week, man. This is going to be a hell of a game to watch. I hope this G's on fishing a little better than it was last week, because this could be a great game just by looking at the matchup here. Josh Deal is definitely going into my lineup. I'll tell you that right now. He's just been fishing too good. Even when it was tough, he fished pretty good.
Yep.
Yeah, my opinion, Slayers are one of the top 2 teams that are the hottest in the league right now.
I agree.
In Motor City, even though they've lost 2 of their last 3, the team still puts up numbers. They haven't got blown out at all. They've been in dog fights with their 2 losses. I think lost by a combine of 6, 7, maybe 8 inches
yeah, it's
tops.
been close.
So it's not like Motor City's fishing bad. They just had some other anglers put up a little bit better fish on some good fisheries. So you have to see what happens here, but I think Motor City, they got a really good chance to get back on track, but Southern Slayers stay hot, dude.
One stat I just want to point out here. Josh Deal, 3 starts, okay? Number 9 overall in average inches per week in his 3 starts. So, I mean, we had him on. He got a little airtime with us last week. Number 9 in the country right now for total inches per game, minimum of 2 starts. Big fantasy value there.
Yeah, he's averaging 12 points a game.
And let's see He was on 10.34. It looks like he's top 15 owned last week, but you know,
He'll be on a lot this week,
he'll be
especially
on
after you share
a little
picks.
bit more. Yep, absolutely. All right.
We got game 8 is Todd's team actually here. We got Tennessee Shiners going on the road to the Indianapolis Knights on Lake Manitou. Kreis, take this one away.
I'll let Todd start with this one. He can talk a
All
little
right.
bit about it. I'll come in behind him.
This isn't Mike Fink's debut. He's been in.
Yeah, I
I
had that
know
messed up.
he's got
Sorry
like
about that.
one match or 2 matches. I think
It's like 80
80,
inches.
80 some odd inches.
Yeah.
Aiden Darlington, this is his debut, and this is a guy that is a must start in your league this week. Aiden went out today and put up over 90 inches in his first 5 fish. He's super confident. This is a lake that he knows very well, and we have Aiden Darlington on our team for this game. We had him on our team for the game in Michigan as well that he wasn't able to make it to. Ewing Minor is a scratch late. Jamie Dennison's coming up from Tennessee to take that spot. So Mike Fink, Aiden Darlington, Jamie Dennison, and Eric Siddiqui is trying to do God's work. He just flew in from Sweden, and he hasn't slept. He's driving 16 hours from Dallas Fort Worth to
Wow.
get there at about 6:30. If we're lucky, we'll see Eric on the water by maybe 8 or 9 a.m. And
That
we're
is
just
some
hoping.
dedication.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just hoping that he can get out there and throw up some big ones. He's going to go hog hunting all day. That's what he's just going to do all day.
Yeah.
And these other guys are going to be going for the limit. But between Fink and Darlington, I think the limit gets filled pretty quick. Those guys are on them pretty good. They're pre-fishing. Um, so Aiden Darlington must start. Everybody else, they have the potential. This lake's got the potential for an angler to put up 135 to 150. And Chip Romanovich, guys, the guy did it on this lake a couple of weeks back, and I think that this guy is basically almost a must start as well, with how well he does on this lake.
What was
Basil
that,
Chip
week 2?
Romanovich, yeah,
Was that week 2?
yeah, I think so.
164 and a quarter from Chip Romanovich on Lake Manitou. I mean, that's
There you go.
5, 6, 7 weeks ago, maybe,
So
with the off weeks in between. But 164.25, that's pretty legit.
yeah, and this lake, guys, it's small. If they're biting, they're biting, and it seemed to be biting. The lake looks really healthy. And all the insight I can give you, this should be a top 5 lake this week. And Chip Romanovich in my opinion, he's a must start.
So I really don't have any insight because I don't know much. So I'm just going to use Todd's info here, and
Same.
just Aiden Darlington, Chip Romanovich. You hear the numbers, week 264.25, so you know the guy can put him up. Todd's saying he's a must start. Maybe you don't start him because he hasn't been doing well in this, in his picks lately. But I mean, his past stats, show that he can put up fish here. So, I'm going to take Todd's advice here and go with these two for deep fantasy value.
Yeah, I'm not gonna stray too far from that either. I'll listen to Todd on this one, and if I do use somebody, it'll probably be Aiden.
Yeah.
Game 9, we got the Alabama Hammers taking on the Deep South Kraken over on Lake Tahoe. Pretty good lake. Who knows how it's fishing, but Hammers only going into this one with two guys on the road. That's a tough matchup there for them.
I'm looking at these stats, fellas. I don't think we have to spend much time on this one, right? You got one guy averaging over 3 fish. Well, I guess 2 guys averaging over 3 fish per game. They're both teams aren't doing well this year. There's too many other good games and good anglers out there on better bodies of water where their teams are kind of on a roll. Where it's I'm not going to touch this one.
I don't like Lake Toho unless it's January or February. And it's not January or February, and it's not even close. I think the fish they're stingy. They're hard to catch, and I say neither team gets a limit this week.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm out on this one actually altogether myself, so won't have to spend any time on that.
Next.
Um, this one maybe a little different. Lake McIntosh seems to be pretty good lake. Definitely in Todd's top 5 lakes. Kraz, what do you think of this one? There's some good numbers on a couple of these guys.
Lunkers had a lot of fun there last week.
They
This
did.
is basically a home game for both of them, right?
Mhm.
I mean, they're not. They both know this lake pretty well, so
I would
this
think
could be
so.
one of those. This could be. I don't know the quality of fish on McIntosh. They did fish there last week though, and someone said that like 96 inches won it, so it could fish well. There's good anglers on this. Corey Dreyer, uh, Hank. I don't
Dave
know how to
Hart.
say his last name. He had
And
99 and change last week. I know he did. Um, I
it's
feel like there could be
Vision.
some Vision. So you could definitely see some fantasy value out of this game. It's just do your research, find out who's hot, find out who's fishing well,
They,
the type of lake. I mean, they just fished on it last week, so we could look up some of the stats now. But
but yeah,
you know,
both of these teams have sent their A lineups. Matt Dunn, Dave Hart, Steve Perry, and Dontrell Sullivan. I mean, that's their A lineup. I mean, then Henry Vision, Corey Dreyer, Arlie Minton, and Stephen Bell. It's going to be a fun lake to watch. McIntosh is actually number 4 on my overall lakes this week. Both teams get a limit. Both teams have fun. This is where I throw the past out with these anglers. And I think that the lake elevates these anglers' stats this week. I like Dontrell. I like Dave. I like Matthew Dunn. I like Corey Dreyer, and I like Arlie Minton. All I like all of them to have significant fantasy value this week. And Man, with what Dave Hart and friends did last week on that lake, that was super fun to watch. So
Yeah, that was a good
who
matchup to
knows?
watch. I
Yeah.
think you could use some recency bias here and go by last week's numbers. And
yep.
Lunkers made they made a claim here that you could put up some numbers like Dave Hart. I think if you go with Dave Hart, you're not going wrong here. Corey Dreyer too. He hasn't put up the numbers you would think he's put up, but if the lake is fishing well, you could have one of those typical Corey Dreyer days where he goes off, and it's going to happen one of these weeks. It's just a matter of which week, and he's going to drop the hammer on him, and hopefully it's this week. I hope this game is just these guys just dropping hammers on each other. It's a great matchup from both sides, but I think that's where I'm going to go. I think I'll go Dave Hart just because it's at home. If I go anywhere here. Game 11, we got the Coosa Kingfishers going on the road to the Florida Copperheads. They're only taking 3, one of them, and making his debut. Against a pretty good lineup. The Copperheads looked to overcome some adversity after last week's, controversy and everything that happened. So, what do you think, Raz?
So I fished Lake Okeechobee in February, and I caught one fish. So I mean, I don't know. It seems like it gets so highly pressured that it could be a place where you might have big fish caught, but you might not have a lot caught. So I don't know. I feel like this is a trap game where if it is on fire, obviously I'm wrong, but everyone can be sitting there saying, "Oh, well, it's Lake Okeechobee. Well, I'm going to pick guys from this lake." If it's stingy, though, you're not going to get the fantasy value that you want just because it's got such a big name. So, if there is any value, I'm going to go with the guys who have been showing up: Conrad Benetti, Danny Gann. That's really all I have for this one.
This this lake is trash can alert of the week for lakes. I don't think it shows out. I think teams struggle to get limits. I think this is going to be a canal. I think canals are going to win it. I don't think Fish and Main Lake is going to win it. I'm not sure what the boundaries are here, but I'd say that if whoever wins, it's going to be in the canals or on the north side. Um, I'd like to see the weather for the wind. If it's blown out of the south, a big trouble for the whole lake, in my opinion, unless you're in the canals. Blown out of the north would probably be a lot better, but my God, I mean, you want to pick Conrad here, right?
Yeah.
That's what I think. Yeah.
Oh, Conrad says Main Lake only. Ugh.
Oh, okay.
See, and I'm thinking the Canals are going to win it because Main Lake's going to suck at fishing. So, guys, be careful with your picks here. Denise should know the lake. Benetti knows it, I think, a little bit. Conrad says light winds.
That's
It's gonna be
good.
a flip. It's gonna be a
It's looking
flipping game.
better and better. Yeah.
It's gonna be a flipping game in the grass and jackhammers along the grass edges. I would assume so. Um,
Look at
maybe
that.
yeah, maybe Benetti, but that's it.
Money back guarantee, man.
Let's go, Conrad. I'm putting
go.
you in my
I love it.
lineup just because of that comment.
Yeah,
Let's
I wanna-
do it.
Yeah, that's good stuff,
Conrad's
man.
a
I
good
love the
advocate.
confidence.
Conrad's a good advocate for his teammates. He's a good teammates.
Yeah, he is.
Yep.
All right. Yeah. What do you think, Todd? You gonna have any of these guys? You gonna play Conrad after that?
I said maybe Conrad. I don't know. I've got to when I set my lineup. I've got to look. But
I
Yeah.
think
you know what we
that's where I'm
should do.
gonna.
You know what we should do, guys. Starting on this show, at the end of the show, we should all end it with our picks. We should make our picks live.
I
think
agree.
that'd be really good. But
Ooh, I like that.
just
I'm
for the
actually-
future.
I'm making my picks as we talk, actually, so that would work. Just so I don't lose any of you guys. I'm headed right to the.
No, Aiden Darlin Notington.
Done. He's in there, man. Lock it up.
Yeah.
Lock it up. He's in. Jake
I know.
Angelis locked him in, man. Done. Rich
All
Biggie,
right.
you're already in, man. Yeah, this one's for me. I'm not gonna mess with this one, but if I did, I'd have Conrad or Danny Gann in my lineup. I wouldn't touch any of the Kingfishers. I think that's gonna be tough for them on the road.
Dave and Buster's.
We got the Palmetto Punishers at the Swamp Donkeys. You guys can take a check out that lake. What's that one called?
It's the
Poca?
Poca. It should have showed out last week and it didn't. So I don't know if it's going to show out this week.
So they're going to be chomping this week. All right. So let me see. I'm looking at Russ Kennedy had that one big week. He's got 3 starts, 17 fish. He's got an MVP performance. I mean, do they have an outside chance? Do they have a chance at making the playoffs? I don't know.
Who?
I'm a fantasy
Swamp
guy.
Donkeys?
The Swamp Donkeys.
They do
That's
have a slight.
close.
They've got a chance. Things need to fall the
He
right
needs to win
way, and
this.
they need to win, and they need to get their point spread up.
Yep, and the
So they need
Punishers
to win by
need
a
a
lot.
win too, though. Barry Davis did
Oh,
have a
of
good week
course.
on Gunnersville last week, right? So maybe he goes out. He's a little angry, and he puts some up. I'm not too sure about this place with it not fishing well last week. It's a coin toss because it could just be the pattern, the summer pattern there, or it could just have been a down week, and now they're going to be chomping this week. So I'm looking at the top 5 lakes this week, and I'm going to probably use that as my gauge here and stay away from this one.
If I see any value here at all, Jason Broach, just because that dude figures it out. The dude knows what he's doing everywhere he goes, and he always figures it out. So Jason Broach, I would heavily consider to put on your team. He could be sleeper of the week. He could be. Jason Broach could put up some numbers this week.
Yeah, Jason, just because of that one start where you see 48.5. I mean, everybody that's kayak fishing knows Jason Broach is a stick man, and I think he's one of those guys that anywhere he goes in the country, the dude catch some fish. So definitely some value there. If I choose anybody on the Swamp Donkeys, it'll be Russ Kennedy. But I think I'm just going to stay away from this one. There's too much value in these other lakes, especially with taking 2 from Winnie. I think that I won't need this one. Game 13, we got the Arkansas Hogs going on the road to the Natural State Eagles. The Eagles, newcomer in the league, only 2 games in. They've won both, I believe. They took over a 1-3 record.
2 games in and they're slapping.
And they're dropping the hammer in the first 2 games. There's been a little bit of fun smack talk. I don't know if it's fun. It looks like it's fun. Could be a little bit more serious. I don't know. But these guys are going at it on Facebook and in the comments. So looks like we're going to have a battle. If this is one of my favorite games of the whole week. Eagles, if they could take these last 2 games and sneak back in the playoffs after inheriting that 1-3 record, would be unbelievable. So, what do you think, Kraz, on this one? This got some good relevance, at least for the Eagles. I think you got to go here.
Yeah, this is what. So this is a tributary of the Mississippi River. It looks like it's a smallmouth fishery based on what I was looking up earlier. Um, I'm looking at Garrett Morgan, Corey Hopper, Joel Spear back in the league, and one game played, 134 and a quarter. Let's go, baby. I think he's hot to get his team into the playoffs. So I see some value there in those three. What do you think, Todd?
Especially third ranked.
I got
lake.
I got this third ranked lake river fishery for the week. The pre-fishing's been tough, but these guys are good enough to put it. They're going to put it together. Um, I mean, I mean, how can you not like Garrett Morgan? The dude, even on tough fisheries, goes out and finds fish to get his team a dub. Corey Hopper's been hot most of the year. He's been consistent at least, right? Joel Spears come in. The game he played was great. And Gary Cooper last week had a fun. It was fun to watch. With I think he caught a 20 on camera.
That's awesome.
So I'm staying Joel Spear, Morgan, and Hopper would be my fantasy value here. With Garrett Morgan, Corey Hopper, take your pick. One of them is probably going to be in my lineup.
Yeah, I think there's Joel Spears hard to not look at after the way he performed in that first game he played. But I think they're itching to get in the playoffs and prove themselves. So definitely Joel there, and maybe even Gary Cooper as a 2. But I think I'd just take one out of this and be Joel. And it's hard to go against Garrett Morgan and Corey Hopper if you want to go contrarian here. But
Scott Shashevovich. That's I'm probably close.
Go.
I got the Polish name too, bud. Joel Spear until it isn't. Let's go. I'm with you.
Yeah, there we go. They'll come back. We'll talk about that when I get here in a second, I think, right? And then we got our last game of the week, the Louisiana Hurricanes at the Oklahoma Outlaws. This is on Chimney Rock. What do you think, Chris? There's some good names in here.
There's some good names in here, but I don't know. They fished on Chimney Rock last week, right? And that did not perform well.
I don't think it did.
I don't think it had. I don't think it showed out. So again, you're looking at a coin toss lake. If it does have big fish or numbers in it, is it going to show up, or is it going to be like it was last week? Is the pattern the same? Is it tough fishing? Again, you look at Todd's top 5 down at the bottom there, and you say Chimney Rock's not on it. Even with these big names, I'm staying away from it.
This is a snooze fest of the week.
Are you sure?
I mean, I don't see Cayman Rasmussen. I mean, Levis Casty, Brad Case. I mean, I've been waiting on Brad to show up and do Brad Case things all year. I know he can. Blake Hennigan as well. I mean, these are guys that you've been waiting on to show up all year long. But when you're averaging under 50 inches a game for the majority of these players, I mean, maybe Robert Richards comes in and smacks them a little bit because he can. I'm not picking anybody. I'm not picking anybody here. I don't think.
Yeah, I'm staying away from this one altogether myself. I don't just the way that like performed last week. If I did have anybody, I usually tend to go to the home team if I don't know the lake that well, and I would go with probably Richards, but there's too many other good ones.
Like what I'd say, and sorry, Justin, I keep doing this tonight. When I see a certain lakes, and I'm just like, again, like for real, this is one of those lakes. It's just they don't do it for me. It's like that annoying girl in school that wouldn't leave you alone. Like, go on a date with me. Well, that's Chimney Rock Lake.
I never had that ever.
No, you don't know what that means.
Just a loser.
Whatever.
All right, man. Let's get into our picks real quick before we jump off here. I know I got a local derby to get to tomorrow, and
all All right.
Decided to do some local fishing. I don't know if you guys are doing any fishing this weekend. I know one person is busy with his house, but Chris,
Yeah.
you're doing that. Todd, you're probably on the road.
I'm actually 25 minutes down the street from Manitou. I'm going to go live. I'm gonna do interviews, and they're gonna get some drone footage
Oh, let's
awesome.
go.
tomorrow. So
Yeah.
Todd's getting
we're
on the
gonna
water at 4 in
we're
the
gonna
morning. He's gonna go
we're
pound
gonna
that
we're
fish.
gonna we're gonna try to step up the game for the KFL a little bit and give some drone footage, maybe some drone catchage, and
Or
we're
drone
gonna try to.
crashes.
And that would make me sick to my stomach, but
Ooh, don't do
no,
that.
we'll see what happens.
Keep it
man.
away from the water. That's all. Seen too many of those.
Blackbeard, you'd be surprised, brother. You'd be surprised, my friend.
All right, what do we got?
All right, man. Let's get into our locks first. Man, this is my lock just because of his performance last week. Going back there again this week, right, with Josh Steele. I think you can just lock him in your lineup. I think he's good for 12 to 15 this week. That's where I'm going with him.
Okay.
All right. What about you, Chris?
I'm going with my boy, Chris Catucci. He had a hell of a pre-fish. It's do or die for us. We need to win. We can't even control our own destiny here, so we need to win out. And the Maulers need to drop one. And there's nothing more than Catucci wanting to make the playoffs and knock the Maulers out. So he's going to go in there. I think he's going to put up. I'm saying he's going to put up 16, 17 points this week.
Wow.
Tomorrow. And I'll tell you what, I could flip a coin here between him and Lacasse. I'd say those two are going to have a tournament within themselves, but we'll see.
All right. What about you, Todd? What you got for your lock? That's a pretty popular name these days.
Number one lake, number one angler, right? Jake Angelis. Until he doesn't do it, the dude's a lock. He should be a lock.
Yeah, he went in there like right away as soon as we started doing this. You just put him in, lock it. It's an easy. So you really only got to choose 4 a week, right? You just put Jake Angelis in. You're good.
I mean, I think you wouldn't be doing too bad in the league right now if that was your case. Even the times he doesn't fish.
That was a hammer. Yeah, he still gets 15% own on the weeks that he takes a week off.
Yeah.
Hey,
But,
did we get Derek Brundle under 15% since he's
Let's see.
Was he at like 13 last time?
The Derek Brundle alert. Let's see. Where is
We're trying to get under 10.
I think he's, fellas. I think he's gone. Wow.
Well, we made fun of people for 5 weeks and they finally got rid of him.
See Derek Brundle. Wow. 0% owned on week 7.
There it is. We got it.
Wow.
If you guys have Derek Brundle this week, he's on Clear Lake in California for the Hobie.
Yeah.
So you're not gonna get Derek Brundle this week.
He's going off this week,
or
just
for
not
KVL,
for KFL.
wherever he's at. Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah. Hey, we did it, man. I thought we were still going to hover around like 8%.
Nope, 0. I don't see him owned at all here.
That's good.
Nothing.
All right, let's get into those sleepers. My sleeper of the week, just a team I've been digging at him a little bit, but just because I expected him to be a little bit better. But he went off last week. It was a home game. Zach Bunner went nuts. Helped his team. I think he really sealed the deal for his team at home on those ponds. And I think he does it again this week and keeps his team. They're barely alive, but if they're going to be alive, he's got to keep them alive this week. So I think he puts up 10 or 12 this week at home.
Yeah, that's a good pick. I'm going with a fella, another Rhode Island Rebel. Call me a homer. I don't care. Blackbeard Bassin in the comments, dude. I don't care. Get out of my face. Justin Gallo lived 15 minutes from Highland Lake. He grew up like 15 minutes from Highland Lake. He knows it. He's pre-fished it. He's fished it a lot. He knows where to catch him. He was the last time I had him as a sleeper was on Winnipesaukee, and he went out and put up 13, 14 points. Now he's basically at a home game for himself, and he was 0% owned the time that the week that I pulled him as a sleeper. So I'm probably going with him. Not gonna lie, he's gonna be in my lineup.
Okay. Ty, what do you got for your sleeper here? You got you talked to him a little bit of his debut here, so a lot of people probably wouldn't think to use him, but clearly somebody you might want to look at, and I put him in my lineup over here.
Mark my words. Aiden Darlington is a guy that if he had been fishing this whole entire league would be MVP running. I can't explain to you how bad you will hate yourself if you don't put him in your lineup this week. The dude goes off for 14 to 15 plus this week points. It's guaranteed. It's money in the bank. Mortgage your house, sell your car. Aiden Darlington puts up 140 to 150 plus this week. It's a lock. It's the lock of the century. Aiden Darlington.
Except he's a sleeper lock.
Yeah, that's because he'll probably go under own. That's a pretty good pick.
All right.
But now he'll probably be at least 10% owned, but I'll probably be one of those 10%, so I'll take it.
Yep.
Yeah, trash can alerts, man. Let's go with trash can alerts.
Yeah.
Man, I don't like doing this, but sometimes I really do. But let me pull up some of these slides real quick.
You kind of do.
I do, but let me pull up why I'm doing this. I'm not trying to be a certain way with this, but I'm choosing this guy, man, Matt Lewison from the Virginia Reapers. He played in 3 games. I don't know if you've been at the lake or not. Again, no idea. Did he show up to the lake?
Old goose eggs there.
So,
that's a good pick. I didn't see that one.
Yeah, I'm locking that in.
One. That's a good pick by you, Query.
Yeah, I've been good on all my trash cans. I'm just saying.
That is cheating.
It's not cheating. I'm just saying if you're 4-2 and you need to win on the road, I wouldn't put a guy in that hasn't caught a fish. Now the guy's going to come out this week and put up 12 on me. Watch.
Yeah.
I hope he does, but yeah, some of these don't make sense to me.
Hey,
but I know it's a lot of availability.
Lie. At the end of the day, stats do not lie, and that's kind of what we've been going on here. And we're just looking at providing you some fantasy insight. And guy who hasn't caught a fish in three games played. Probably not going to provide you some good fantasy, and if he does, he does. But no one's going to own him, so it's not really going to hurt you.
Can I remind you guys what trash can alert's supposed to be? Though
no, that's your definition of trash can alert. My definition is this guy's not going to catch a fish.
Trash can alert's a guy that's supposed to be decent for a team, and he chokes, and it affects his team winning and losing.
Hey, if you're in the KFL, I expect you to be decent. I haven't been performing. I mean, I'm a good trash can alert for one of these weeks if you want to use them. All but right. I'm saying if I'm at home and I've played at home, I better be catching fish.
I mean, if you want to lay up for the trash can alert, then you can pick James Johnson every week. I mean,
I did.
Fair? I mean,
I did pick him once.
You could pick me this week. I'm not even in the lineup, but you could still pick me. That's a guaranteed trash can alert.
Yeah, the layup, that'd be like picking me every week. I'm not even in the lineup.
Rich, nobody's going to pick you for trash can, man. I got you.
Yeah.
You're getting locked into people's lineup, buddy.
All right. Well,
I'm not trying to dig at him. I'm just saying if you
Kraz gets it. Matt Dunn's needed this week.
Here's the thing. Matt Dunn is needed this week. He's at home, but it's a home and home game for those two guys, for those two teams. And he just – can you scroll to his stats? I know his stats don't look that great, and I know he's from what I hear he's a decent angler who can put him up.
Yep.
4 games played, 1.5 fish per game. You got 97 inches. 4 games played. You've been on the water for 24 hours, and you've got 97.25 inches in a must win here. This start is huge for Matt Dunn. He's got to show up.
Okay, I can live with that one. And you're going to surprise us on this one.
Todd Patrick, surprise pick.
I've got 2. I have 2.
Oh, shit.
Oh, boy.
I'm going with her.
Kenwood. Kenwood and Conrad Benetti.
Wow.
Locking Kenwood in my lineup for that one.
He's going with the inverse Todd Patrick pick.
Going with it. Kenwood, number 5. I've been waiting for number 5 all night. Here we go.
He's waiting for you to make that trash can alert pick. All right. Well, Kenwood did say it was fishing poorly. He's been doing good this year too. He's got 5 or 6 games played, 6 fish per game.
He's one of 3 that's had 6 games.
Yep. So definitely, if he falls apart this week, yeah, you could be right on the money, Todd. To be honest with you, man, that's a good pick.
Yep.
What else we got?
All right, what's your other one, man? You said you had 2?
He said
Oh,
Conrad Benetti.
Conrad
Got
Benetti.
2. Okay, that's the second one. You really
That's
think
the-
he's gonna get less than what, 5 or 6?
I think that lake is stingy.
Just the
Main
lake.
Lake. Yeah, I mean, if you don't find the sparse area of grass that they're in, I mean, you could go over there. I wouldn't feel confident going to Lake Okeechobee ever. So,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean,
Rich. I'm not playing Rich.
like I
You
said,
don't want to put me in.
like I said, I say the definition of trash can alert is when you're in a must-win game and you're an angler that's been carrying or supposed to carry or be an upper echelon player in your team, and those 2 players that I called have that opportunity to, you know, to be a hero or a zero, and I'm picking 0 for both.
We just let you keep playing and picking those kind of guys, and Kraz and I'll just keep picking guys that have played bad and go by stats.
Hey,
That's what I'm going by.
I actually picked the way that Todd defines
have?
trash can alert. I picked it this week. Last week, not so much, but you know,
I've been playing stats.
I want to see Matt Dunn step up here, and I hope he has a good week. Man, I don't know him. I never talked to him at all. I hope he has a good week. I hope he proves me wrong.
Yep.
But it's just based on the stats and what I know about him. Time to step up.
Yep. Same for Matt, man. That's just one, he ain't caught a fish yet. He's probably one of those guys that's a local hammer. It just, maybe he's been on road games like me. I've been on 3 road games, haven't had a home game yet, but I bet you he puts out less than 3 this week for me. Nobody's going to play him, so less than 3, that's my guess. I haven't had a lock yet with more than 3.
I think you got a lock.
Huh?
I think you got a lock.
Let's go. All right, what do we got? Final thoughts?
Man.
Is that where we're at right now?
Yep.
Yeah, we're getting down to the nitty gritty here.
Yeah, I'll go last.
All right.
Obviously, final thoughts from me would be crosskicks.com, right? So thank you to Crosskicks KFL 25. Get you guys 25% off your cross kicks. Go check them out. Thank them for everything they've done. Give back to them and show them the support from the KFL from the people that maybe aren't even in the KFL like y'all, that maybe are just doing fantasy and having fun on the side here with us. So go check out Cross Kicks, some of the best water shoes out there. You know what, Kraz, they got a break-in period. Supposedly, and I don't even have a pair yet, but I'm definitely going to order me some. And
they're good.
I'm,
If you just
I'm
have
ready.
if you have a wide foot, I would go a size bigger. I'm a size 12. I had to go to a size 13. Just so you can't try them on in stores. So, I had to get them. But like real quick, they sent them back. They had me send had me send the other ones back. They sent the other ones out before I even put them in the box and printed the label. They're great to work with. Customer service is awesome. I had 2 size 13s for the 2.0 and the originals out to me in no time. So Cross Kicks, hell of a company. I love their shoes.
Yeah.
And then to finish my going aways, fantasy's getting we're getting down to the end of it. The last 2 weeks of the regular season. And have we verified who the leader of the league is? Is it still Jason Denise still leading the league in fantasy?
By 92 points. 92 points. So someone needs he needs
yeah.
to I think he's got it locked up, to be honest. You need to
Yeah, Jason's just got that on lockdown. But thanks for playing, guys. And even if you're getting in late and this is your first week tuning in the show, like, what is KFL Fantasy? Go to KFL.com. Do the drop down tab there and click on the fantasy. Go on the link and you can go on there and you can play and still place in the top from week to week. If you get a perfect lineup, old Justin has put his word out there that he'll personally give you some cross kicks if you get the optimum lineup. Which we were only 1 point away from last week. Wow. So just come out and have fun with us, guys. That's what this show's all about. It's to help bring fandom to these anglers and to bring notoriety to the league. And that's what we're here to do. This is all fun. 28 teams from across the country and all markets from Florida to Maine to Tennessee to
Texas.
Oklahoma.
Yep.
Well, not Texas, but yeah. I mean, so
Used to be.
you
Well,
know. But yeah, just join us, guys, and we just appreciate you guys coming on and hanging out with us for these hour and 15 minutes or so when we come on. So hopefully you guys like it, and we enjoy it ourselves.
all right. Definitely enjoy being on here with you guys. I guess I'm going to say Ripid Energy. Thanks for being a sponsor for the KFL. I know they got some great flavors. Todd, you're always talking about their great flavors here.
They have good flavors.
They're definitely they're definitely big into are they veteran owned or they support veterans or both?
I don't want to say the wrong thing, but I do know that they heavily support the veterans.
Yeah, that's an awesome. I
still remember when I was in the desert, man, and everybody was walking around with a Rip It Man in the morning.
So thank you, Ripid Energy. Thanks all for coming on, watching the show. It seems like we're going in the right direction here. We finally have Derek Brundle 0% owned.
There we go.
That's a step in the right direction. It shows the lineup stats that you guys are picking. I mean, we almost had a perfect lineup last week. So whether that's an ode to us or not, probably not, but it just shows that people are paying attention, which is great, and we appreciate the support.
Yeah, definitely. I've had a good time doing this with you guys. It's been a crazy week and a half for me traveling to Rhode Island on the road, facing Crisis' team. The Rebels was awesome time we had. Great sportsmen out there, man. We had a great time with the ramp. We got back practicing this week for my team. I'm Canisius, even though I'm not in the lineup. Getting to meet the commissioner on the water, wicked cool. So the camaraderie of the league, not just among the players on the same team, but along the whole team. Players from different teams coming together and meeting people like this is awesome for me. So I appreciate that. Huge shout out to Three Bells Outfitters for supporting all the KFL, all of our live events, and everybody going out there on their kayaks, all the rigging that you guys do. Really appreciate you guys and doing all the broadcasts for during the live games. So appreciate that. Appreciate you guys coming on. We won't have a game next week, right? We have a bye week except for, or maybe we'll come on and do just a recap. I don't know. We haven't talked about it yet. What do you guys think? Do a week 8 recap and then make it a week. Yeah. Yeah, we'll figure that out. But we'll probably come on. I'm not doing too much. We'll do a recap probably at least, and I'll make the following week a little bit shorter when we talk about the final week, week 9, the biggest week in KFL for the season. So I think we'll do that. So good luck to everybody that's playing this week. Remember, if you're going to lock in anybody from the Bay State and Granite State Sticks, they're playing next Saturday on the 27th. Catch them on Motion Sports Network and the Kayak Fishing League on YouTube. The only game playing that day, so watch them. Support our guys fishing. Everybody, be safe on the water this weekend if you're fishing. If you're not, enjoy watching the KFL on Motion Sports Network, and we'll see you at the recap show. Thanks, guys.
Later, boys.
You have a good one.
See y'all.
That I'm at an all-time low.